Morning children, I hope class 10th children are watching this video and I hope you must be keeping well. Today in this video we are going to start science, and already one chapter we have completed. Electricity you have done, and today we will start a new chapter, and that is light, reflection and refraction. So already you have learned this chapter in your previous classes, either in 7 or 8 you might be remembering. So this is not very new for you. So we will start this chapter thoroughly as you have given in your syllabus, in your textbooks. So let's start. But before starting, few basic instructions I have given, and you must follow, you must strictly follow these rules. First, you need to study your science textbook NCERT thoroughly. So before watching this video, you must be prepared with these things. You must go through properly by yourself this NCERT book, what textbook has been given to you, that you go through, then you watch videos. So I think easily you will be able to understand. And even after watching also you need to study. So at least 3 to 4 times you must go through thoroughly your textbook NCERT what has been given, and important points are required to be underlined properly, and all the definitions and other important things, if it is there, that must be written in your notebook. So notes are required to be prepared, and for that you must go through properly. Second, one help book already has been given. You need to use your science textbook, that is S. Chand, as a reference book. That also is very important if you want to understand concept very thoroughly. So it is better you go through S. Chand book, what textbook has been provided to you, that as a reference book, that you go through properly, and then you watch video, and even after watching also you must go through. Next, you have each and every questions of exercises given in both the books you must do. After watching video, I think you will understand each and everything. So after watching, you need to complete your exercises whatever have been given in NCERT as well as in S. Chand, and that must be there in your notebook. Then already it has been written, your notebook must be maintained. So if you are doing these things, definitely your notebook will be maintained, and even in PDF form what notes will be given, that also you need to write in your notebook. All the necessary drawing must be made in notebook and must be practiced. Not only completing your task in your notebook, even you need to practice also many times, so that you should be able to draw yourself without help of a picture. So for exam preparation you must practice many times whatever important drawings are there. And numerical questions, this is very important. If it is there, must be done. So already it will be done if numericals will come, but you must practice and must be done. You must practice many times, so that you should be very confident. Until you are not very much confident about the concept, you will not be able to do your numerical. And if you are very thorough with numerical, it means you have understood the concept. So it is better, many times it is required to be practiced. So let's start. What contents we have taken or what we are going to see in this video. Here you see what is light. Already you know what is light, but we will see in brief what is light. We have luminous and non-luminous object, nature of light, reflection of light, terms which are used in reflection of light, these we will see, and laws of reflection of light. This is very important. This we will see. Regular and irregular reflection we will see. Real and virtual image, formation of image in a plane mirror, and position of image in a plane mirror. And lastly, few more topics we have. Lateral inversion, characteristics of image formed by plane mirror, usage of plane mirror, sample problems we have in S. Chand, that we will see, and few assignments have been given that you need to do. So let's start. First we have what is light. Here you see light is a form of energy Light is needed to see things around us. We detect light with our eyes. Light is a form of energy. If in book already questions are there that you need to do, so you go through book as well, and you need to remember that light is a form of energy, and light is needed to see the things around us, whatever things we have around us. Even now itself, when you are watching this video, why you are able to watch? Because light is there. So what happens actually, what happens, why we can see the object? If light will be there, that will fall on the object, and all the object whatever are visible, whatever we can see the object, why we can see? Because light falls on that and the object reflects the light. Some of the lights are get absorbed by the object, and most of the light are reflected. And if reflection will not be there, what is reflection? Reflection is bouncing back of the light. When light falls, suppose any object you have, and light rays falls on it, and it bounces back. When it bounces back, when light rays comes to the object and it bounces back, it comes to our eyes, and when it comes to our eyes, it forms an image on our eyes, and we are able to see the object. And if reflection will not be there, if bouncing back of light will not be there, we will not be able to see any object. So in dark, just you see, at night when light is not there, we are not able to see object. Why? Only one thing is there, because reflection is not happening. Light is not there, light is not falling on the object, reflection is not happening, and that's why our eyes are not able to make image and we are not able to see. So till light will not be there, we will not be able to see the object. So light is needed to see things around us. We detect light with our eyes. Light enables us to see objects from which it comes or from which it is reflected. Here you see, here you have sunlight that is falling on the object, and that is getting reflected, and that is visible to this boy. That falls on our eyes, and image is formed, and we can see the object. Here also we can see the chair at night because it reflects bulb light falling on it into our eyes. Just you see, if at night, why we can see the object? Here in daytime we use light of sun, but at night bulb is glowing, and that's why, because of this light, we are able to see whatever objects are there in the room. Then we see two types of objects are there. One is luminous object, the other is non-luminous object. So the object like the sun, other stars, electric bulb, tube light, torch, candle and fire, etc., which emit their own light are called luminous object. So the object which are having their own light, suppose you have tube light at home, torch you have at home, electric bulb you have at home, candle, fire, and even sun and stars, they are having their natural light. So either they are having their natural light or man-made objects like electric bulb or tube light and torch, they are having their light. So these are called luminous objects because they emit their own light, and that's why those type of objects are called luminous object. Second, we have non-luminous object, those objects which do not emit light themselves but only reflect or scatter the light which falls on them are called non-luminous object. Just we have seen, any objects are being seen by us. Why? Because these luminous objects scatter light, and after falling light on those objects, those reflects back, and that forms an image in our eyes, and that's why we are able to see object. So the object which reflect the light and which are visible, those objects which do not emit light themselves but only reflect or scatter the light which falls on them, those type of objects are called non-luminous objects. Here some examples have been given. You see, These are luminous sun, this glowworm we have, this torch we have. So these are what? These are luminous objects because they have their own light, they emit their own light. These objects you see, these are visible. Why? Because they are non-luminous, they don't have their own light, but they reflect the light. So they are called non-luminous objects. Next you see nature of light. So there are two theories about the nature of light: wave theory of light and particle theory of light. This is very important, you need to remember. Two theories are there of nature of light. They are called wave theory of light and particle theory of light. So what is wave theory of light? Here you see, according to wave theory, light consists of electromagnetic waves which do not require a material medium like solid, liquid or gas for their propagation. So for traveling the light, which if light is traveling, it does not need any medium, either solid, liquid or gas. Just you think, from sun when light comes to the earth, in between, if Earth's atmosphere is not there, beyond this atmosphere nothing is there, vacuum is there, no medium is there, then also light is able to come to the earth. It means light does not need any medium like solid, liquid or gas. So according to wave theory of light, what it is? Light consists of electromagnetic waves. It consists of electromagnetic waves which do not require material medium like solid, liquid or gas for their propagation. Next we have, according to particle theory, light is composed of particles, small, very small particles, which travel in a straight line at very high speed. Second theory is what? Particle theory, and according to particle theory of light, light is composed of particles which travel in a straight line at a very high speed. And the smallest particle, the elementary particle that defines light is the photon, that you need to remember. The elementary particle that defines light is the photon. Then we will see a reflection of light. So suppose you have a plane mirror or even plane surface, smooth surface you have. So when light falls on the plane mirror or plane surface, smooth surface, suppose this is your reflecting area. Light falls, suppose this is light beam that is falling on it. So this is called incident ray. And when it falls, it bounces back. It means it reflects back. And it forms a certain angle with the normal. Suppose if any perpendicular line is there on the plane surface, and this perpendicular line is called normal. So when incident ray falls on plane surface, with the normal some definite angle it forms. Suppose angle I is there. And when it bounces back or when it reflects back, with the same angle it bounces back if surface is smooth. And this I and R will be equal always. It means angle of incidence and angle of reflection is always equal if surface is smooth or plane. When light falls on the surface of an object, some of it is sent back. Some of the light is get absorbed also, and most of the light that reflects back. The process of sending back the light rays which fall on the surface of an object is called reflection of light. So this you need to remember, the process of sending back the light rays which fall on the surface of an object is called reflection of light, or simply bouncing back of the incident ray or bouncing back of the light is called reflection of light. The object having polished shining surfaces reflected more light than object having unpolished or dull surface. That you can experience also by saying. At home also you can see, if plain surface is there, suppose you have plates on which you eat, that plate is very smooth, so light bounces back easily or reflects back easily. So your instrument box or even your mobile or whatever things are there, very smooth and shiny, then it reflects back, and the object which are not very much shiny, like your cushions or your sofas or even your curtains, so those are not very much shiny, so light get reflected, but as compared to these polished shining surfaces, that is less. So the object having polished shining surfaces reflect more light than object having unpolished or dull surfaces. Now we will see activity 1, and in this activity we will see how light bounces back on plane surface. So here you see, by this activity we will try to learn. Suppose you have, this is a laser and this is your plane mirror. When light bounces off a mirror or when light falls on the mirror or the surface, it always obeys the law of reflection. So you will learn what it is, just you watch what is law of reflection, that also you will learn. And so it always obeys the law of reflection. So just you see how it happens. This light is falling on the plane mirror and that is bouncing back. So when light bounces off a mirror, it always obeys the law of reflection. And we draw a dashed line perpendicular to the surface of the mirror called the normal line. Suppose you have a perpendicular on the surface. This is your plane surface, on this is perpendicular. Perpendicular means this will be 90 degree. This is perpendicular on the surface. So when we draw a dashed line perpendicular to the surface of the mirror called the normal line. And now you see, the ray traveling from the laser to the mirror is called the incident ray. Here you see, this is called incident ray. Light through the laser, the beam is coming and that is falling on the mirror, and this rays of beam is called incident ray. Single ray has been shown, so this is called incident ray. Now you see, the ray that bounces off the mirror is called the reflected ray. Incident ray, and it bounces back, and that ray is called reflected ray. Here you see, this ray, this is called reflected ray. This is incident ray, this is reflected ray, and this is normal. Now you see, the angle formed by the incident ray and the normal line is called the incident angle. As I told while I was explaining, what I had said, that with the normal, this incident ray form an angle. So this angle is called incident angle. And the angle formed by the reflected ray and the normal line is called the reflected angle. And this angle is called reflected angle. So what you have learned? Incident ray, reflected ray, this normal is perpendicular on the surface, and angle formed by incident ray and normal is called incident angle. The angle which is formed by reflected ray and normal is called reflected angle. Now you see, the law of reflection states that the incident angle always equals to the reflected angle. The laws of reflection states that the incident angle always equals the reflected angle. And in this case, suppose incident angle is 55 degree, then reflected angle will be definitely 55 degree. Here you see. Here you have, this is normal, and with normal if you are measuring this is 55 degree, so incident angle is 55 degree, and reflected angle is also 55 degree. Now we can see, drag the laser around. then fire it to see what the incident and reflected angles are. Here you see, now suppose some different angle we have taken. Suppose this is 40 degree, then incident angle is 40 degree, reflected angle is 40 degree. And again just you see, if you are moving somewhere else, just you see, this is 59 degree and this is 59 degree. So an incident angle, whatever you will get, the same angle you will get in reflected angle. Now suppose you can see here 28 degree and 28 degree. So this is incident angle and this is reflected angle. In exam especially, or in book also it has been given, suppose this is 28 degree, this angle is required to be found out and this angle. So these both angles also will be equal. Suppose this is 28, this will be what? 90 minus 28, and this will be equal or 90 minus 28 you can write. So in this way we can find these angles also, and that is there in your book. So next we will see. Now try it again with a completely different mirror angle. Just you see, this mirror has been changed, space has been changed, that this has been inclined more. And now then also you see, if you are firing laser beam, so what angle is forming in incident angle, that 46 degrees, the same angle you are getting in reflected angle also. So wherever it will be placed, or in whichever angle it will be placed, your mirror, these law of reflection will be followed always. The angle of incidence or incident angle will be equal to angle of reflection or reflected angle. Just you can change and you can see, just you see here 23 degree and 23 degree. So I hope you understood. Okay, now we will see see terms which are used in reflection of light. First we have incident ray. So already you have seen just now, the ray of light that falls on the reflecting surface is called incident ray. Reflected ray, the ray of light that is sent back by the reflecting surface, is called reflected ray. Just now you had seen. Suppose this is your mirror, this is your incident ray, this is your normal, and this is your reflected ray. Normal, the mirror is the normal is a line at right angle to the reflecting surface to the point of incidence. Angle of incidence, it is the angle made by the incident ray and the normal. This is called angle of incidence, that is denoted by I. Angle of reflection, it is the angle made by the reflected ray and the normal, and that is denoted by R. Object, it is the thing that forms an image on the screen. So any object, if that is coming on the reflecting surface of the mirror, so those objects, if image is getting formed, those will be called object. Image, it is the reflection of the object on the screen. So on the screen, or if virtual image you are getting, so those image, if it is getting formed on the mirror, so those will be called image. Virtual image is what? The image that cannot be obtained on a screen or surface where image is formed. So if any image, the image that cannot be obtained on a screen, suppose in plane mirror when you watch yourself, that is called virtual image, or any object is being seen on your plane mirror, that is called virtual image, because that cannot be obtained on screen. As in cinema hall, on screen we watch things. So those are the things, those are real image, those are called real image. The image that is formed directly on the screen, even on through projector, what image you are getting, this is called real image. So the image which can be obtained on screen, that is called real image. Then you have, just now we have seen laws of reflection and what it is: the incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal to the mirror at the point of incident all lie in the same plane. That you need to remember. Just now we had seen the incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal to the mirror at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. Just you see, this is your plane surface or mirror, this is point of incidence, this is incident ray, this is reflected ray, and normal, these all lie on the at the point of incident, all lie in the same plane. Next you have the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection, that you need to remember. So these two are called law of reflection, that you need to remember. These both are called laws of reflection, that you need to remember. Two types of reflection is there that you need to know. In book it has been given regular reflection and diffuse reflection. So irregular reflection is also called diffuse reflection. This is called diffuse reflection. Diffuse reflection. Here you see, if the parallel incident rays are reflected in such a way that all the reflected rays are also parallel to each other, just you see, rays are coming, incident rays are there, they are parallel, and after reflection these reflected rays are also parallel. When rays are falling on the surface, all the rays are falling on the surface and they are parallel to each other, and after bouncing back or after reflection also, if they are parallel, it means are following the same pattern after bouncing back, then this is known as regular reflection. It occurs only if the rays are falling on a highly smooth polished surface like plane mirror. So this will happen only on plane mirror. Second, you have irregular reflection or diffuse reflection. If the parallel rays fall on an irregular surface, then the reflected rays scatter in all directions. Just you see, rays falling on it, but it is getting scattered. See, so this is getting scattered. It occurs if the rays are falling on a rough surface. This type of reflection enables us to see the object around us. So even our own image when we see on plane mirror, that is diffuse reflection. Here we have some real image and virtual image. What it is already I have made you understood. Real image is the image which is formed when the light rays meet at a particular point after reflection from the mirror, and virtual image refers to the image which forms when the light rays appear to meet at definite point after reflection from the mirror. So when we see ourselves on mirror, what happens? It seems as some rays of light is meeting somewhere, or after bouncing back rays are meeting somewhere and image is getting formed. So that is virtual. Here you see if suppose here this is real image. Why? Because real image can be seen on the screen, and virtual image, it seems as something is there back. So that is difference between real image and virtual image. Then we have formation of image in a plane mirror. So here suppose you have, this is plane mirror, this is your object. So light is falling on it and rays are getting scattered. Some of the rays which are going on this plane mirror, so those are forming an image over here at the same distance where object has been kept. So here this image is getting formed, and through eye some object is there behind the plane mirror at the equal distance. Object distance and image distance will be always equal. So when eyes detect reflected light from a plane mirror, eyes detect the reflected rays from the plane mirror, and brain projects light rays backward in a straight line, and we are able to see the object and we can recognize the object. The same thing is there, formation of image in a plane mirror. So here object, you have a person, here you have object, and I is here. So suppose if object is here, and from here you are saying it seems as this object is kept over here, this man is there over here, and virtual image is formed. These dotted lines to show the construction of the virtual image. So now we will see another activity, and we will try to learn in plane mirror how image is formed. Okay, here we will see how image is formed on plane mirror. And before that, just you think yourself, what size mirror do you need to see your entire body? So if you want to see your entire body, which size of the mirror will be required to see that? So full size is required, or half it is required, or 1/4 it is required? Just you see. Here you see people use full length mirrors to see their whole body. But is a full length mirror really necessary? Do we use the whole mirror when we look at ourselves? You need to think. Let's look at the science behind this. Means what science is there, why, how much big mirror is required, and how image is formed. In a well-lit room, light bounces in every direction of every point from our body when you are watching on mirror, when you are seeing on mirror. Some of these light rays bounces off the mirror, and rest of the light gets scattered. After bouncing, only a small fraction of these rays enter your eyes and becomes visible to you. Just you see, image is getting formed by this way. We imagine these rays are coming in a straight line. This is how your image behind the mirror is formed. Just you see, the rays bounce off of the flat mirror at exactly the same angle they hit it. This is the law of reflection. Already you have learned what is law of reflection. Let's play around with this. Just you see how it happens. Suppose this is yourself, you are seeing on mirror, plane mirror. So your distance to the mirror is 5 feet. This distance is 5 feet, and length of mirror is also 5 feet. Full size mirror it is. And source of rays, here suppose source of rays we have kept huge, and then you see how image is formed and how we can see. Just you see, from here light is bouncing back, so only one point is there from where light is bouncing back. Few light has been scattered and few rays of light has been gone on the mirror, and image has been formed at this point. And just you see, image has been formed. The distance of the object and distance of the image is same over here. Again you see, the same thing is there. We have kept our source of light, source of rays, that is shoe, and image is getting formed. If we are changing the point, suppose we have kept knee, and then we are seeing how it is formed. So rays are bouncing back and going to the mirror. Light is bouncing back and going to the mirror, and image is getting formed over here. Here you can see image is getting formed, and again image distance and object distance will be always same. You can change this, and you can see, suppose on hand, if it will be there, how it will form image. So you can see how image is getting formed. So in this way image will be formed. Now we can change even distance to the mirror. Suppose we are changing distance and we want to see, and we have changed this also. Suppose we have seen, we have kept head, and distance suppose we have reduced to 3 feet. We have gone closer, and then you see how image is getting formed. Just you see, in this way we are getting our image. Just you see. So if object we have made closer, image is also coming closer. So always you remember, object distance and image distance in plane mirror will be same. Just you see now, if length of mirror is reduced, then what happens? Suppose 3 feet we have kept, then how image is getting formed? Just you see how much image we have got. And even more, if we will reduce, and we will see how image will be formed, you see. So you can see how image has been formed. Means half of the body we are able to see in this way if we are reducing the size of the mirror. And but one thing you need to remember, again object distance and image distance will be always same. So in this way you have learned how image is formed in plane mirror. You see, in another way we will try to learn. Suppose you have candle flame and light rays travel outward in all directions from each point on the source. Suppose if this is your source of light, so how it gets scattered, and we can see this. So in this way light gets scattered everywhere, and this is your eyes. So to perceive an image, some of those light rays must come towards your eye. Just you see, if you want to see any object, some of the light must come to us, then only that will be visible to us. When the rays reach the lens of your eye, they are bent inward. Just you see, this works as a lens, and then it get bent like this, in this way. Here you see that get bent on the retina, then bent inward again to focus on a single point on your eyes, retina. This is called retina. And if the candle is in front of the mirror, suppose this is in front of the mirror, some of the rays will bounce off the mirror, that will bounce back and will reach to our eyes. Here you see, in this way, and again this will bend and will come to the retina, and image will be formed. Here you see. In this way your eyes focuses the light at the same spot, and your brain can't tell the difference. From your eyes point of view, the rays appear to come from a point behind the mirror. It seems as somewhere here light is coming from. So on mirror, if you are saying this image of this candle or light is getting formed, the image is getting formed over here at the same distance from where object has been kept. The same distance is there of object and mirror, and image and the mirror. The location behind the mirror where the object appears to be located is called the image. And just you see, because of geometry, the location of the image stays the same no matter where your eye is looking from. Just you see, this is your mirror, this is your source of light, rays are bouncing back from the mirror and coming to our eyes, image is getting formed, but image is not changing even if you are moving somewhere. Image, it appears as, it seems as image is fixed somewhere on the mirror. The image dot appears to be the same color as the point on the object that we ray diagrammed from. In this case, the image dot is a yellow. If we pick an orange spot on the flame, its image dot will appear in a different location. Just you see, if this was in yellow, it was being looked, it was yellow, but we have changed the spot, and image dot will appear in a different location. In different location this is being appeared. To determine what an object looks like, for an entire object we draw ray diagrams for each point on the object. If you want to learn how image is formed, this is suppose your plane mirror and source of light is here, or object has been kept, if how image is getting formed. Just you see, if rays are coming from here we had hit, and rays were coming, and here here image has been formed. Then you see, if we are hitting over here, image is getting formed here. So just you see, image is getting formed. So very quickly, if all the points will be touched or all the points will be hit, so image will get started forming. So if many points will be hit, just you see, image will get started and will get started forming. So in this way, just you see, image inverted, just you see, image is getting formed. So what happens actually, on retina, inverted image is formed. On retina, inverted image is formed, but through the brains that is converted into erect image, and we are able to see erect image. So in this way, image is formed. So here you have seen when we were hitting the point and we were getting image, but actually what happens, it happens so quickly that even we cannot imagine how quickly that is happening, and directly that forms in our brain, or directly that forms on our retina, and that is converted through our brain, and we are able to see the object. So in this way, image is formed on plane mirror. Okay, now we will see the position of image formed in a plane mirror. Already you have seen, so I hope you have understood. The image formed in a plane mirror is at the same distance behind the mirror as the object is in front of the mirror. Just you see, suppose this is your object distance and this is your image distance. So you have learnt, you have seen, this will be always equal, and based on this many numericals also are there in S-Chan, so you must solve those questions. Next we will see lateral inversion. When an object is placed in front of a plane mirror, then the right side of object appears to become the left side of image, and the left side of object appears to become the right side of image. This change of sides of an object and its mirror image is called lateral inversion. So that you need to remember. Just you might have experienced also, when you are seeing on mirror, your right hand appears as left hand of the image and your left hand appears as right hand of the image. So this is called, this change of sides of an object and mirror image is called lateral inversion. That you need to remember. And the phenomenon of lateral inversion is due to the reflection of light, that you know. Here you see some examples have been given, as you may have experienced also, your right hand appears left hand of image, and here this is very common things you might have seen. This ambulance is written in mirror image alphabet, so that it will be visible by behind. If you are seeing behind some ambulance is coming, you will be easily recognize that vehicle is ambulance. So in this image, mirror image alphabet, that is written in ambulance. Then we have characteristics of image formed by a plane mirror. This is very important, and already you have understood now. Image is virtual and erect. When on plane mirror, if you are seeing yourself, just you see yourself and you check, your image will be virtual and erect. It will not be inverted, it will be erect, and this will be virtual. It is of same size as the object. If object is whatever size is there of the object, the same size you will see on image also. It has the same distance as the object to the mirror, just you have seen. It is laterally reversed, means again laterally inversed means you may see your right hand, it will appear as, it will seem as the left hand of the image, and your left hand will appear as right hand of the image. So that is laterally inverse, reverse that will be. The minimum length of the mirror required to form full size image of the object is half the size of the object. This you need to remember, and you may experience also by doing so. So the minimum length of the mirror required to form full size image of the object is half the size of the object. So here you see, we will see some usage of plane mirror. So what uses are there, you can see on figure how we use and what are the uses of this. They are used to see ourselves. First of all, they are used to see ourselves. They are fixed on the inside wall of certain shop like jewelry shop to make them look bigger. You might have seen. Plane mirrors are used in making periscopes. Already you know where it is used. In submarines especially, that is used, these periscopes, so that we can see the object which is not visible without the use of periscope. So periscope is used for this, and they are used to they are used at blind turns of busy roads to prevent accidents, or even in washroom, in dressing room, those are used. So these are very easy, already you know, but suppose if it is needed to be asked, when you are asked to write answer in proper way, it should be written. Then we will see some sample problem that has been given in S-Chan. Just you see. First one, you have an incident ray makes an angle of 35 degree with the surface of a plane mirror. What is the angle of reflection? So in order to find out the angle of reflection, we should first, here what has been given, just you see, an incident ray makes an angle of 35 degree with the surface of a plane mirror. Suppose here you see, this is your surface. Suppose a figure has been given, you will understand that. Suppose in this figure you see, suppose this is your surface of mirror. This is your reflecting surface. An incident ray makes an angle of 35 degree with the surface of a plane mirror. So this is your incident ray, and this angle has been given. This is 35 degree. And suppose this is your normal. So angle of reflection will be this one. So angle of incidence will be this, and this will be angle of reflection. So first you find out angle of incidence. So angle of incidence will be 90 degree minus 35 degree. So that will be angle of incidence. So that will be 55 degree. And angle of reflection will be equal. So that will be also 55 degree. And you had to find out what is the angle of reflection. So this will be your answer. So in figure also this has been made understand. Next you see, David is observing his image in a plane mirror. The distance between the mirror and his image is 4 meters. If he moves 1 meter towards the mirror, then the distance between David and his image will be what? In this problem, David is the object. Initially, the distance between the mirror and David image of David is 4 meters. Since the distance of the object from plane mirror is equal to the distance of image from the plane mirror, therefore the distance of David, which is object, from the plane mirror is also 4 meters. So as in question it was asked, David is observing his image in a plane mirror. The distance between the mirror and his image is 4 meters. So if he moves 1 meter towards the mirror, the distance between David and his image will be how much? If suppose here it has been given, suppose this is your mirror, David is here 4 meter and image is 4 meter. When he is moving towards the mirror 1 meter, so this distance will be 3 meter. And image distance was 4 meters. Now it became 3 meters. So now object and image, just you see, distance between them will be 3 plus 3, and that will be 6 meters, and that will be your answer. Next you have the rear view mirror of a car is a plane mirror. Suppose rear view of car, actually that is kept convex mirror, but here it has been kept plane mirror. A driver is reversing his car at a speed of 2 meters per second. Speed of car is 2 meters per second. The driver sees in his rear view mirror the image of a truck parked behind his car. The speed at which the image of the truck appears to approach the driver will be 1 meter per second, 2 meters per second, 4 meters per second, or 8 meters per second. Since the speed is 2 meters per second, it will appear from the behind. Again, car is the speed of truck will be 2 meter per second. So speed of car and speed of truck, that will be added. It will appear as the speed of car, speed of truck is 2 meter per second. So total it will be 4 meter per second. Although truck is parked and that is not moving, but it will seem as the truck is also coming towards the car. So it will be 2 plus 2, and that will be 4 meter per second, and this will be your answer. And then you have assignment. In the very beginning it was told, when you need to go through properly whole theory part, you need to read yourself, and then questions are required to be solved. So you need to study thoroughly page number 162 to page number 173 of S. Chand, and question answer must be written on your notebook of these page number 173 to page number 175. Just you see this properly, and today itself you must go through and you must complete this page number 173 to 175, whatever questions are there. Until you are not solving your questions, all the effort what has been made, that will go in vain. You will not understand properly. So just you go through all the questions, or even all the numericals you must go through, so that concept will be very clear. So for today this much is for you, and next day we will see some next topic. Until then, thank you.